This is Majanoni. We have a lot of reviews to go through today. I'm going to go through some of them really quick, and then others I'll go through a little bit more in detail. Let's just start off with Action Comics 970, The Trial of Lex Luthor. Basically, this dates back to the Justice League versus Darkseid battle thing, where Lex Luthor, gained some powers. Superman gained some powers, and there's some aliens who believe Lex Luthor is going to become Darkseid in the future and cause massive damage and destruction, and they want to put him on trial. I think somebody basically read the plot of Civil War, thought that was a great idea, and put it into this book. Let me assure you, you thought wrong. Not buying the next. Titans number 6. This was basically, if you like the first 5 issues, you're going to like this issue. It ties it all up, but one thing I thought was interesting is it tied the Kadabra battle, which was a classic Titan villain. And then it ends with the Terminator, which was the more, well, I'll say more modern, but it was really, the when the new Teen Titans had launched with Perez and Wolfman, that he was the main big villain type thing, besides Raven's father, Trigon. But it basically, I thought it was interesting how they basically bookmarked the Titans in between those two villains. And, overall it was a decent read. The art was fine. The story was decent. It's not going to win any awards, but at the same time, it's much better than what some of the other stuff had been in the past. Number 3, Teen Titans. Basically, this is a coming together issue where everybody explains what their faults are. There's no secrets type thing. We get a little bit more background about Damian, especially for those who didn't know who he was. And it has a surprising but yet not so surprising ending. You know it's not going to be exactly the way it's going to play out. There's more to it than just that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still on board for right now, and I'll definitely get the next one. But it's still like the other Titans. It's an average book. All right, All-Star Batman number 5. Lots of supervillains. They're on a gambling casino boat. Batman breaks the boat free, and it starts floating down the river in Niagara Falls, and it's heading for Niagara Falls. While this is going on, you have Gordon and some policemen going into Wayne Manor. Alfred's desperately, trying to stop them. They're looking. They basically have information that there's a secret passageway behind the clock, so they're looking for the Batcave. While all that's going on, Alfred basically comes clean with Batman and explains, yeah, I'm the guy who caused the plane to go down, and these are the reasons, blah, 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 blah. All that was fine and dandy. The part with Commissioner Gordon was good. The ending with Two-Face was actually really good, too. Basically, they were looking for a cure for Two-Face. And all that part was good. Overall, it was I would say decent ending. And I would say it definitely had a different feel compared to Snyder's previous Batman run. But I still kind of liked it. Even though I was kind of exhausted at times and then, okay, you're running type thing. The ending was also really good too. Detective Comics 947. I can, without spoiling too much, I'll say that part of it is this is a healing issue, and at the same time it's basically casting Spoiler out from the Bat Group, and she's basically gone rogue. You could almost call her a villain, but she's not really a villain. She basically just wants all this madness to end. At the very, very end, though, we have a little bit more about Tim Drake and his situation, and that part was good. I'm glad that they're addressing that still, and just at least in little pieces. So that part was good. Overall, I'd say it's a decent run for the Victim Syndicate, and this still has been a much better detective than what it's been in for a long time. Okay, Justice League versus Suicide Squad number 2. This was your all battle issue. Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit about the bad guys who escaped. They hint again about, hey, you know what, there's something wrong with this universe. There's something missing. And so they're going to be involved with that. The rest of the issue is pretty much a battle between Justice League and Suicide Squad. So all that was great. The art was good. The fighting was good. And overall, I was very, very, very pleased. Very pleased with this. Thor. Now, this definitely was a badass cover. Now, the odd thing with Thor is when Thor, the male Thor, fought Curse, it was a male. Now you get female Thor, and now Curse changes to a female. So I'm not sure why they're doing that. But they're basically starting to put an end to the Dark Elf part of it, and they're moving that story forward. And I would say overall that was a decent read. There was a little bit of fighting. I wish there was a little bit more. The art was okay. It hasn't been... I mean, I know maybe I'm sounding a little bit down on it, but compared to what I've seen in the past, the art is... I mean, while the art is good, it's just hasn't been as great as some of the other artwork I've seen. But it was a decent read. I'm still on board, and I am looking forward to seeing the Shi'ar War coming up. Okay, the Uncanny Avengers, number 18. They're finally going to put an end, or basically try to put an end to the Red Skull. But at the same time, Red Skull is finally putting out his plan of action to take out the Uncanny Avengers. He wants Rogue badly on his side, so he keeps attacking her when she's at her most vulnerable. But unfortunately for the Uncanny Avengers, he already has Quicksilver, and Quicksilver pretty much takes out the team. Now, of course, we all already know that while he took out the team is going to be their next issue, so we'll see what happens. Overall, I mean, a best Avengers book by far. Great. I mean, I'm finally glad they're trying to wrap up the Red Skull thing. That's been taking way too long, but I'm glad they're finally going down that path. Hulk. Now, I have a feeling this might be a little controversial in the sense that people are really pissed off they killed Bruce Banner, and not only did they kill Bruce Banner off, they put She-Hulk in the place of the Hulk. So now it's kind of like, well, screw you, you're never going to get your Hulk back. So I get that part of it. And, there was a part of me that wasn't going to get it. But I thought about it, and there's other books I wasn't planning on buying, but I thought, if I'm doing the videos, I should get it anyways, just so this way I can at least let you guys know, is it good, is it bad, stay away, type thing. Overall, I will say I was pleasantly surprised. The art was pretty decent, and basically Jen is trying to put her life back together as a lawyer, and for the most part, she stays in human form throughout the book. She's got some crazy cases lined up. It's kind of like her law firm is basically giving her all the cases that no other normal lawyer wants to touch. But at the end of the issue, that's where you can see she's really struggling. And while she's putting a great front at the beginning part, she's just like a phrase away. If somebody says the wrong thing, she's going to just go crazy. And I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to lead. So, I mean, I'll definitely get the next issues or so just to check it out. Overall, like I said, pleasantly surprised. Rocket Raccoon. Okay, this is another one I wasn't planning on buying, but I really thought about it, and I'm like, Rocket Raccoon's usually pretty entertaining. So I picked it up, and, I have to admit, this is really good. The Rocket's, he's stranded on the planet. He doesn't know where the Guardians are. Everybody split up, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why would the Guardians, okay, you just had this big battle, and they just all went their separate directions. It's like they're stranded on Earth, at least they could have stayed together, but I have a feeling I'm missing something because I've stopped reading Guardians. But basically Rocket gets himself into some trouble with the cops, and he just gives no shits at all, and he's just complaining. He wants off the planet, and it's up to the Human Torch to basically bail him out. Overall, I thought this was a really funny. I mean, okay, no, it's not like a laugh out loud kind of funny. You have to know Rocket. You have to understand the situation, and overall, like I said, I thought it was rather amusing, and I'm definitely on board. Definitely, the art I thought was pretty decent. I mean, the guy can't draw the Human Torch at all, which is a shame. But the book I thought was good overall. Good, fun read. At the very least, it's fun. Okay, Captain America. Look, I'm not really want to talk about this book. I'm just. This book to me is just garbage. I think, granted, you could look at it as a great idea in that they're taking a classic character, doing something different with them. But with everything Marvel's been doing, I mean, there's no true stability with all their main cast. And I think that's one thing that I was hoping for, is just seeing some stability within certain characters. And it's like Marvel's got rid of all their main characters except for Spider-Man. And I as I was reading this book, it's basically, it's a lot about the past that doesn't exist, and the new Quasar, and I'm just like, I don't give two craps. Don't care. The writing's okay. It's just, it's like a mental block where I just don't want to deal with it any longer. I'm not buying any more of this nonsense. Spider-Man number 11. This is pretty much Miles' dad. And he basically gets, he's with S.H.I.E.L.D. and he is tasked a mission. And overall, I thought the thing was pretty good. It shows, I think this is one of those types of stories where it's designed to just basically highlight the father, show you what type of man he is inside. And for that matter, I don't think it really disappointed. It was a great story, and this is still my favorite Spider-Man book by far. What a piece of shit Civil War 2 is. All of the extra time, all of the extra pages, and they gave us the shittiest ending. Holy mother of shitty endings. It's like they can't, for the life of them, figure out how to end these books, no matter how many extra months they get to work on it. Holy shit. Now, I'm going to give out some spoilers, okay? Here's the deal. The art is beautiful, okay? I'm not going to take any of that away. But it's, Captain Marvel and Iron Man duking it out. And at the very end, Ulysses, he's in this weird trance. The Inhumans come. They go, we gotta show up and put a stop to this. We gotta bring Ulysses with us. And at the very end, Ulysses he basically awakens. And he gives this is actually after Carol takes out Tony, Ulysses comes in, and then he gives this possible future type things. We get the Creatures Unleashed, which is coming next. Oh boy, look at that. X-Men versus Inhumans, that's coming. This is that possible future with Spider-Man, with Captain America, which could potentially happen still when you consider Captain America is eventually going to get found out that he's a traitor. You have Killraven, which has been teased that there's going to be a Killraven series. Sentinels. Potentially, this is Ultron, so this could be the Ultron, that big Ultron story, whatever that thing was called, right before they had the big breakup of the Marvel Universe with, Secret Wars. And then this is another possible future story where you have male Thor, back with a hammer fighting Loki. And then Eternity shows up and goes, oh, Ulysses, Oh, you've showed the humans everything that you can. It is now time to join us in the cosmos because the Earth is just a tiny piece, and the universe needs you. If you'll join us. And Ulysses is like, hell yeah, I'm not going to stand around this piece of crap planet with being manipulated all the time. And he joins Ulysses, and he joins Eternity. He's going to be one of the major power cosmics. And I'm just like, oh. And then, what gets me is at the very, very end, we find the fate of Tony. Apparently Tony's been experimenting on himself, and he's like in a deep coma. And the Beast is having a talk with Carol, and he's like, well, look, Carol, Tony really likes you, and it's not like he didn't trust you. He just didn't trust the person after you. Somebody would have eventually, once profiling became a norm, then, it could have been used for bad. And I'm just like, oh, God. If that was the case, you should have said something, Oh, my God. By now, I'm having a headache. And then it gets worse. Because you get to another part here where it's Hawkeye and he's like, well, Carol, I'm going to be doing something and it'd be very helpful if you stayed out of my way. And it's good to see the old Carol back, the Carol that we all liked. And I'm like, Clint, nobody likes Captain Marvel. So I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't like the old. And we certainly don't like the new. And we are tired of this character. And I was done by the time I read that book. That part, I was just checked out. Shitty ending. This is not trade worthy. This is a POS grade. For sure. POS. Infamous Iron Man 3. Actually, this was really well written. I gotta give Bendis props for this. Now, the reason why I thought this book was good was this. First of all, you had pretty good art. And this talks about Victor. And it goes through everything. He explains himself. And I think this is one of those things that we really, really needed. He basically, what he does is, he explains, look, this is my life. This was my life. He goes, I was a god. I created this. I created the world. And it wasn't what he thought. I'm paraphrasing this, but it's not what he thought it was going to be. Things just didn't work out. And, it talks about his background. It talks about him growing up. It talks about everything that he achieved. And now it's basically, you can actually see that, now, unless he's lying through all this part, as long as he's being sincere, it's like you can see he really legitimately wants to try a different way. So I thought that part was very strong. I also thought it was great that they acknowledged Secret Wars and that there are people who remember, which of course is going to lead the doorway for Reed and Susan eventually to come back. But and obviously the Thing knows. So that's what I'm saying is if the Thing knows, I'm pretty sure Reed and Susan still know, and it's just a matter of time when they finally come back. But overall, I was actually really, like I said, I was really pleased with it. It's a different take of a villain. Now, I understand there's still issues where it's like, you have Doom, and why is he a hero? Granted, I agree with you. But I'm just curious to see where this is going to go, and I'm curious to see where the direction's going to be. And ultimately, what's going to cause him to eventually turn back to be a supervillain. But overall, I was happy with it. Anyways, those are the books for the week that I read. Comments or questions, let me know. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. And we'll have some more stuff later. And until next time.